Hello everybody, and welcome back to All That Glitters with Robert Brighton. Today I want to tell you a little bit about the Brighton Method. Now, if that sounds a little conceited because I've named a method after myself, well, I apologize, but that's the way it is. The fact of the matter is I learned to write over 25 years the hard way, by making mistakes, by picking myself up, by trying something different, by assembling all the piece parts of what it would take me to become a writer a little at a time. And it was painful, and it took a long time. I don't think that you have to do that. In fact, I think there's a much more efficient way to learn, because what I've done is I have codified all this information and knowledge that I've acquired along the way into a series of courses that I call the Brighton Method. The Brighton Method will help you break down the problems you're facing in writing, in making oral presentations, in reading. I mean, if you're having trouble understanding something or really processing it, and you have to do that for your work, I can help you break that down. And, it really is, I didn't even realize until, a few years ago that I really had developed my own method that makes it fairly painless to access the creative unconscious, whether you're speaking, writing, or reading, to get into that creative zone, to apply yourself, to get what you have to get done, okay? And then reflect on that and incorporate whatever you've learned into your own toolkit. It's very important that you learn what works for you. I'll share with you what works for me and what I have found has worked for a lot of fledgling writers over the years. I used to teach communications in the graduate school at Johns Hopkins University. I've helped a bunch of, wanting to be authors, kind of overcome whatever obstacles they're facing. And so I know it works. And oh, by the way, I use this method myself. So I eat my own cooking. I'm not going to share with you anything that I know doesn't work. At the end of the day, you'll find a way to incorporate this into your own creative process, or you might adopt it entirely. I mean, that's up to you. But the fact of the matter is, this method works. The Brighton Method is a very straightforward, logical way to approach any communications challenge. And so over time, I'm going to focus on all the elements of communication here. We'll start out with a course called Reading and Writing with Robert Brighton, which, as the title suggests, is primarily about writing and also learning to read and research more mindfully. We'll also have, I won't call it a course, I'll call it a look over my shoulder as I write my current novel, The Mosquito God, because you can learn the basics, the building blocks, in a series of short videos. But when you watch me actually writing my next novel and tackling the many challenges that I will have to face along the way, you will see how I employ the Brighton Method in each case. So you will have not only the building blocks, but you'll also see how the building blocks are assembled by someone who has been using this method for years. Then later on in the future, I can promise you other courses on effective speaking, public speaking, preparing presentations, preparing proposals, all kinds of things. So I love talking about this. I have been a communicator my whole life. Long before I became a novelist, I was making a living doing all the things that you may do at your work, presentations and reports and all sorts of things. And I love doing it. I love teaching it. And I think you'll love learning it, to be honest. I think we'll have some fun. So that's the Brighton Method. And if you are interested, you're going to find a ton of information here on these videos. And then as you'll find under one-on-ones, I also have a certain limited number of one-on-one instruction available to you if that's something that would be beneficial. So the Brighton Method, I think you're going to like it, and I think it's going to save you a tremendous amount of time and frustration on your writing, reading, or speaking journey. Thank you for joining.